Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I didn't announce anything, so we'll see who pops in.
Yeah. I unfortunately don't have the capability of bouncing back and forth to.
Oh yeah, with the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
Shauna
I'm on my
can-
laptop and have my phone, which means I can.
If I open another window, do you guys still see me on camera if I do this?
Yes.
Yeah, I see you.
Oh, I didn't know that. 'Cause I'm not looking at the camera right now. I thought that if I okay.
Yeah, Shauna said she'll share it out too. So
So I'm here. I just put Goddess Hell on the search. So oh my gosh, some cool images. Just to teach myself a little bit because I don't know much about Norse mythology whatsoever.
hi, Lene.
I mean, not like
Hi, Lene.
I know a couple of things, but hi, Lene. Ooh, is that what she's described to look like? Half skull and half human?
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
half alive and half dead.
Oh.
hmm
So she's like
This
the
is
original.
why she's given in the position in hell, is that she is more comfortable among the dead than the living.
Yep.
Oh.
And up until that point, Hell had no name, and she named it after herself.
Hi, Medium That Rocks. So we're here with Leolyn and Pat, and we're discussing dark mythology today, dark gods and goddesses. We're gonna learn a little bit about Loki, correct, and Hel as well.
hmm
I'm learning along with you guys just because I don't know much about it, so I'll be asking some questions to the experts over here, um, and I'm also learning as you guys are learning too. So wait, is hell the underworld for North, or is the underworld a totally different place?
So in Norse mythology, there isn't so much a Greek style underworld. There are the separate realms,
The separate realm.
one of which is hell, which is the afterlife.
Okay.
There is also the idea of other afterlives in the Norse pantheon, like eh, eh, Valhalla, and but you have to meet certain criteria to make it to Valhalla.
Okay.
Also, there are indications in some in the writings that whether you qualify for Valhalla or not, you're still going to hell first.
Oh.
There are also other portions of separate myths that
Hi,
sometimes.
Steven.
Hi, Stephen. But there are also some other portions of other myths that talk about you don't just go to Valhalla or to Hell, but you can be sent to Niflheim, you can be sent to Ginnungagap, and the different other places.
So there's seven, correct? Is there seven realms?
9.
9. Okay, 9.
There are 9 Norse realms.
Among any of those.
One of those realms is this Midgard, Earth. You've heard a few of their names. He's very commonly mentioned, partially due to a certain comic turned into a series of movies.
Although, interestingly enough, for those who actually like the Final Fantasy series, it draws a lot on the 9 realms also.
Mm-hmm.
because if you think about it, Final Fantasy VII, the main city that everything is centered around is called Midgar. So Midgard. They actually took a lot of names, including on some of the summons that you can summon. Quetzalcoatl. They went through all different pantheons for gods and creatures of summoning.
Yep. Hi, Stephen. Hi, Shauna. Excellent. Come back here. Oh, puppies are being loud.
Oh no!
For once, mine is sleeping quietly.
I guess we go. Anybody has any questions or anything? While we're waiting for Nixon to come back.
So, if you in the chat have questions, now is your time.
Wait, what happened? What did I do?
Walked off camera.
Wait, I blocked you guys?
No.
Myself.
Yes.
Yes, give me a second. Sorry.
Hi, Rowena.
Hi, Rowena.
I'm gonna grow up because that's what I do.
You're making me want to go grab my bag of M&Ms.
Go for it.
I might as well, because I also accidentally, when I was printing stuff off, I misprinted one thing, so I have both of the first page and not the second page. So I kind of need to grab the second page. I will be right back.
And Hexen, here's another thing that I mentioned before. Hel is Loki's daughter.
Oh.
Here.
Forget that one all the time.
Yeah. So she is the goddess of the dead and a ruler of the realm of the dead. She is also the daughter of Loki, the god of chaos. And there's a fun story. Loki hid his kids because he knew that they were part of the prophecy for Ragnarok, and that Odin would try to get rid of them, which Odin then did. By the way, the other kids are Jormungand, the world serpent. He threw him in the ocean. He didn't die. He got bigger. This is how he got big enough to encircle the earth. Or this, that he got thrown in the ocean. Fenrir, which they took to Asgard. Hel, who they originally took to Asgard. Hel doesn't fit in Asgard because she looks half dead and she's not comfortable among the living. So Odin sends her to the realm of the dead and gives her rulership over it. It's Fenrir they're terrified of because he keeps growing. And growing and getting stronger until they are terrified that he's one day going to destroy everything. So they form chains to bind him. Here's the problem. It takes them a lot of trial and error, and eventually Fenrir figures out what they're doing. And he don't like it. So when they finally figure out the one that's actually going to hold him, he doesn't want to let them chain him up anymore. Well, he's formed a bond with the god Tyr. So he says Tyr has to put his hand in his mouth before he'll let them chain him up. Well,
What?
Tyr sacrifices his hand, sticks his hand in Fenrir's mouth while they chain him, and Fenrir warns Tyr that if they trick him, he's gonna bite Tyr's hand off. And he does. And then they chain Fenrir up.
Wow.
Which is how we get Fenrir breaking free of his chains at Ragnarok, and so he can swallow the sun.
Hi, Shauna. Hi, Denise. Hi, Marge.
Funny how we have the prophecy that they then do all the things to put the children of Loki in the right locations and to cause Ragnarok.
Yep.
So, how was Hel born? She's the daughter of Loki with.
Agraboda, a giant.
Is she like a giant goddess type thing? Or?
So a lot of the gods are actually half or more giant, including Loki himself. By the way. And by the way, also Odin and Thor are part giant. And some of them are able to be the size of giants, like Thor is able to grow to the size of a giant or be more normal human sized. Then some of them just kind of stay at their usual size.
Yeah, it's actually very interesting how many of the Seer or the gods are part or more giant when they are fighting the giants all the time.
Yep. Including the fact that Odin, who is Thor's father, is himself half giant. Thor's mother, by the way, is also a giant.
So
Thor is 3/4 giant.
Their ancestors are giants.
Their ancestors, the Aesir's ancestors are partially giants.
Okay.
Giants mixed with other beings.
Okay. Are there any other giants in the mythology, not including those, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, following the mythology of the Norse pantheon, the world was made from the corpse of a giant.
Mm-hmm.
The first giant.
The very first giant, which is where which is, by the way, the ancestor of the Aesir. So yes, they are all descended from giants.
That's interesting. And who was the giant?
Ymir. It was the first giant. So, I guess that's a good segue to cover the Norse creation myth.
Mm-hmm.
How dark and violent it is. So, I'm going to sort of skip through the beginning part and get to the meat of the violence and the darkest part. But Ymir is born of the flames and the embers of Muspel and the ice of drawing a blank here on it. Started with an F, but either way, his body is formed from the ice and the fire. And from his body comes all creation, essentially. But after the sons of Bor, who are Vili, Ve, and Uthen, decide that they no longer have need or want Ymir around to make more giants. So they attack and kill Ymir. So much blood flows from Ymir's body that it drowned out all of the other giants except for Belgamir, and his wife, who rode away in a hollowed-out tree trunk floating on a sea of gore. All the giants today are descended from them. Uthin Villienve took Ymir's body to the center of Ginnungagap. From his body they made the world. His flesh became the earth, and his unbroken bones the mountain. From his teeth and bone fragments they made rocks and stone. They used his blood to make the lakes and oceans encircling the world. They raised Ymir's skull over the earth to make the sky, and placed a dwarf at each of the four corners to hold the sky up. Glowing embers from Muspel were thrown into the sky to make the sun and moon and stars and planets. Ymir's brains were thrown into the sky to make the clouds. His eyebrows were used to make the fortifications around the world to protect against the giants. Inside the fortifications is Midgard, the realm of man. And then, so the sons of Bor, Odin, Vili, and Ve, were one day walking along the land and came across two trees with their roots ripped out of the ground. One was ash and the other elm. They fashioned these into the first man and woman. Uthin breathed life into them with the spirit of life. Vili provided consciousness, wits, and a feeling heart, and Ve gave them the gifts of hearing and sight. The man was called Ah, or Ash, and the woman was Embla, or Elm, and they were given Midgard in which to live, and all of the races of men have descended from them.
Oh, so that's like the Adam and the Eve of the Norse mythology.
Mm-hmm.
Ash and elm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Are those the two most sacred woods used in the path?
For the most part, in the North, yes.
Some of the other gods have other trees that
Odin
are
is what?
considered sacred to them.
Odin is what's sacred to Odin? Is it oak? No.
No, Ash is related to Uthin because the world tree Yggdrasil is made of ash.
Okay.
So that's why ash is the world tree, and that's why ash is the primary, because of the things Uthin has done in the myths. Was sacrificing himself to himself on the world tree and all of that.
March, because you made me hungry, so I got chips and salsa. Hi, Gypsy.
Considering it's us, yes, do get a snack, get a drink, settle in.
Get something, because we snack and drink and eat our lives all the time.
I got my big bag of M&Ms and I got my soda. I'm good.
Hi, Sonia.
So yes, Norse mythology starts violent and it ends violent. And it stays violent in between.
How many kids does Loki have?
Loki has 6 that I can think of. Hel, Fenrir, Jormungand, and then he has 5, because he has 2 others that I can't remember the name of himself.
Well, Jormungandr, Hel, Fenrir, Sleipnir, and I'm drawing a blank on the other.
Yeah, Sleipnir was slipping my mind. I don't know why, and I don't remember.
The horse, right?
Yes, Sleipnir is the 8-legged horse that Odin rides on.
I'm listening while throwing notes. That's awesome, Gypsy.
Also, and yes, Sleipnir is the one of Loki's children that Loki is actually the mother of.
Yep.
Wait, what?
Loki is Sleipnir's mother, not father, because Loki was in a female form and bore her Sleipnir, as in was pregnant with Sleipnir and gave birth to him.
So Loki is like a shapeshifter, gender changing.
Yep. Loki is a shapeshifter. He can change his gender. Loki he is known in the myths to change his gender when he needs to.
That's very interesting.
Sorry.
Does he have a name for his female gender, or like it's just he can just change all these different forms? Still Loki, obviously, but I don't know. It's kind of confusing.
He does. I just can't remember what the female form is called.
Right.
So it's kind of like one of his many faces.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And you also realize most of the Norse gods and goddesses would, when they went down to Midgard to walk amongst humans, they would take on different names.
Mm-hmm.
Uthin being the most proliferate of changing his name repeatedly and taking on different forms and different looks.
To the point of being notorious for it. It had literally people being like, okay, I'm eyeing you. You say you are Greybeard. Are you really Greybeard, or are you Odin? Of which people think of Loki as a dark god. A lot of people don't actually think of Odin as a dark god, even though Odin is as much of a trickster and a dark, I'm going to do what serves me personality as Loki is.
Yep. many going out into the world and picking a good warrior and then suddenly making things go wrong so he dies, so he can take him to Valhalla.
Mm-hmm. And multiple times in the myths, it's almost explicit, and sometimes it is just straight out explicit, that Odin decided that this army was going to lose because they were the better soldiers, and he wanted them among his forces in Valhalla.
Yep.
So this is not a case of like petitioning Ares that he's going to help you win the battle. No, this is not how you work with Odin, because and in this case, in these myths, because Odin's not the one that's going to go, oh, you're a good warrior, you're going to win. Odin's the one that's going to go, oh, you're a good warrior, I want you. You're mine now.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes in the mythology, you want to be a mediocre warrior. Because he did have a bad habit of taking the best for himself.
Like, if you want to win, you want to not be the one that dies in glorious battle and goes to Valhalla.
Why you're stuck to be a warrior for the rest of eternity?
Yes.
Oh.
If you go to Valhalla, you are a warrior forever.
Yep. You become one of the Enhedion, or the chosen.
Versus if you go to hell, there are farms and homes there. It's a place where it's like, oh, everybody who didn't die in battle, you come in here And Hell actually does make sure that there's enough for you there, a place for you there.
Yep. Or those who were warriors who died an unhonorable death were also sent to heaven.
Yep. In fact, there is the myth of the death of one of the gods, who was very beloved by the other gods. And in fact, Loki plays a very strategic role in his death. And Hell literally lays out gold and a feast to welcome him, because Balder is coming to Hell. She's willing to send him back if everything in the universe cries and weeps for him. But there's one being that won't cry. Spoiler alert, it's Loki in disguise. Balder stays in Hell.
Yep. Oh,
Wait, are they better off in Hell?
Sorry?
Kinda.
Are they better off in Hell?
Well,
Like,
Depends on your outlook.
Is that where you would want to end up in?
Depends on your outlook. If you want to be a warrior, a soldier for life, forever, you want to go to Valhalla. If you want to basically have a afterlife where you are provided for and you who can continue who basically an existence that's almost like you're still alive, you want to go to Hell. Hell in Norse mythology is not a bad place. It's just the afterlife.
Yep.
Okay.
I actually was listening to an audiobook before all of this happened, and it's actually a kid's book or young adults. It's Magnus Chase. And it's actually all about Norse mythology and Valhalla, the Einherji, the different gods and goddesses, and all of that.
I've heard of it.
Somewhat accurate. There's some inaccuracies to it, but no book is going to be perfect.
No. And honestly, if someone just reproduced mythology directly, it wouldn't make for an interesting story. Unless you are trying to produce a reproduction of the mythology.
Yeah.
I broke my nail at work, and it's like the whole edge of it, it's like cut through.
Ooh.
Poor Hexen.
Yeah, I totally made my thumbnail yesterday working on Dad's brakes.
Well, that's how it started. My thumbnail got messed up. It got fucked up. And then I have this piece of nail still hanging on the edge.
Yep.
You see it?
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's all deformed and shit.
Oh, and Hexen, would you like to know what happens to Loki?
Uh-oh.
Remember I said he played a key role in Balder's death?
Mm-hmm.
No one knows this until he tells them, like an idiot. So he runs and hides from the other gods because they now want to kill him. Except, one of the people that wants to kill him is Odin, the one who can see everything. So Odin finds him. Thor catches him. They take two of Loki's sons, turn them into wolves, have them kill each other, and use their entrails to chain Loki to a rock.
Oh wow.
And by the way, then they hang a serpent over Loki's head so that the venom from said serpent drips into Loki's eyes until Ragnarok. His wife, by the way, stands beside Loki the whole time with a bowl trying to catch the venom. But every time the bowl fills up, she has to step away and empty it, which means Loki, he ends up screaming and writhing in pain because venom's dripping into his eyes, which is how the Norse explain earthquakes.
Yep.
What?
Mm-hmm.
The North say that the earthquakes are caused when Sifa, I believe is her name. I'm trying to remember Loki's wife's name.
Sigyn.
Sigyn, yeah. When she has to step away and pour out the bowl and the venom starts dripping into his eyes, he starts writhing, and it's his writhing that causes the earthquakes.
Mm-hmm. I friggin' warned you. Norse mythology starts violent, continues violently, ends violently.
Oh, yeah.
There is no point in Norse mythology where it's like everybody's chilling. No, somebody's dying.
No. There is a tale of Thor when they went and were challenged to those 3 challenges.
Yes, in that one, no one dies.
Yep.
The time they met Utgard Loki, not to be confused with Loki, who, by the way, was with Thor at the time.
I think he was Loki's cousin.
I think they're related. I think. But Utgard Loki is a giant. And Thor and Loki decide to go visit him. Now they stop along the way. They meet a poor family who let them spend the night.
Give me 1 second. Back.
Way goes Hexen.
You can keep going.
So they spend the night, and Thor slaughters his goats to feed the family and himself and Loki, because the family, quite frankly, doesn't have enough meat to feed Thor. Thor has a very large appetite. This is fine. Thor's goats will come back. He can reanimate them. He warns them, do not break the bones and suck out the marrow. Depending on the version of the myth you're reading, either the kid decides by himself or Loki encourages the kid to suck out the marrow because Thor is just trying to hog it all for himself. So the kid does. The next morning, Thor raises the goat who's back to life. One of them has a limp. Thor's very grumpy about this. He's about to smite some people. The farmer offers his 2 children as recompense. Thor agrees to this. They leave the goats with the farmers. They take the children. They leave to go find Utgard Loki. They come across a giant. This giant, or rather, they continue until nightfall. They find a cave to sleep in. This cave is not a cave. It is the glove of a giant. Said giant and proceeds to greet them and travel with them for a while. Again, nightfall comes. The giant falls asleep, but the giant happened to be carrying all of the supplies. Thor tries to open the sack to get the supplies. He can't. He's very grumpy about this. Also, the giant snores. Thor is also grumpy about this. Thor tries to kill the giant. He fails. The giant wakes up and tells Loki and asks if something landed on him. Thor is even more angry. This continues, who's in a pattern of minor inconvenience annoys Thor. Thor tries to kill Giant, and Giant wakes up and proceeds to be like, okay, did something minor happen? Goes back to sleep. Finally, Thor and the Giant, or Loki, the kids, and the Giant split ways. And our party arrives at the place they're headed to. Thor tries to move the gate. He doesn't need to. The gate is so large they can walk through the grates. At which point Loki turns around. I'm like, Thor, why are you trying to move the gate? Just walk through. Thor is still grumpy. They get into the hall of Utgard Loki, where there are a bunch of giants feasting, and Utgard Loki proceeds to greet them and offer them 3 challenges. Loki, he suggests that he can eat more than anyone else in Asgard. So, Utgard Loki calls one of his other giants to come and compete with Loki. Loki eats all of the meat and bones out of a long trough full of food. He does not beat his opponent. His opponent ate the trough too, in just as much time. One of the children says, I can run faster than anyone, and I know. So, he is challenged to a race. And the child loses because his opponent runs several times faster than him. Thor says he can drink more than anyone in Asgard. He is offered a drinking horn, and then told that all of the people in Utgard Loki's assemblage can finish the horn in 3 or less gulps. Thor takes a gulp and barely makes a dent. Second gulp makes a larger dent. Third gulp makes an even larger dent, but has not finished the horn. Thor is not happy. He demands another chance. Okay, try and lift my cat. Thor tries to lift the cat, and here's the part where I bust out laughing, because literally all I'm seeing is this giant cat with Thor putting it on his shoulders, trying to lift it, and it's doing the thing where cats become liquid. Thor manages to lift a single paw off the floor. So again, Thor is very angry, demanding another chance. Utgard Loki offers him another chance. Here, you can wrestle this old lady. She kicks Thor's ass.
What?
Now, Thor does hold his own against her for quite some time, but she eventually kicks his ass. Now, Utgard Loki puts an end to the challenges and lets them sleep there that night, but tells them they have to leave in the morning. He escorts them out the next morning and proceeds to reveal what really happened during those challenges. Loki didn't face a giant, he faced fire itself.
Okay.
That's why it was able to eat the trough as well. The child didn't race against a giant, he raced against time itself. Thor did not try to drink from a drinking horn full of mead. He drank from the ocean and severely lowered the water levels in the ocean, and with 3 gulps. He did not try to lift a cat. He moved Jormungand, aforementioned large serpent that is son of Loki, that circles Midgard.
That kind of
Thor did not wrestle an old lady. He wrestled old age itself. Utgard Loki proceeds to tell them they are terrifying and they will never find him again. Well, Thor is pissed and goes to kill Utgard Loki. Utgard Loki disappears. Oh, by the way, he let me fill in. The giant that Thor tried to kill before, that was annoying them on the way there, when he kept trying to hit him, he wasn't hitting him. He was hitting mountains and carving new valleys with how hard he was hitting them. And that giant was Utgard Loki in disguise. So essentially, this story is fondly referred to by me as the time Thor and company failed spectacularly and still proved that they were total badasses.
Hi, Papa Squirrel.
Hi, Papa Squirrel.
Hi. uh,
Norse mythology has some entertaining and twisted tales.
Can we all just recognize how fluffy Pat and Hexen's beards are getting jealous?
Beard.
My beard is super, like, it's so long.
Papa Squirrel.
I just ordered masks on Amazon. They won't be here for 2 months.
Recognize how fluffy Pat and Hexen's beards are getting.
Papa Squirrel goes, I need another glass of wine for this.
Norse mythology is endlessly entertaining. And at the same time terrifying, because literally all of the gods will kill you at the drop of a hat.
Yep.
Like, say the wrong thing and they're try to kill you.
One day when I grow up, Papa Squirrel. One day when I grow up, I hope to be men like you both. I got that fucked up Cherokee patchy hair bullshit.
So does anybody else have questions?
Any more questions?
Loki, Uthin, Hell, Norse mythology in general.
So many. There's so many things to know. Oh my god.
So many. He Norse.
And I'm guessing
so little time.
Each of the 9 worlds has its own myths and creatures associated with it and all of that, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And so does the tree that connects them all.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't show anyone. My name's Scully. I only showed Leolin and Pat. So this is a smelted quartz, I think it's called. And it's like partly man-made, or it is man-made, something like that. It's meant to be almost like blown glass type thing. I don't know. That's what I read from it. But I thought it was really cool.
It is.
It looks like a flame. This one I got from Positive Energy Crystals on Instagram. There we go. There you can see it. It has this crazy patch. It has like the strawberry color with in between the yellow. It's kind of cool. I thought it was really cool. I really get like a fire energy from this guy. Hence the flame. So I named him Pyro for now.
So Hex, if you have more questions.
Can any of these gods please make all this end so we can go back to normal? Okay, Papa Squirrel. Thank you for reminding me. So this is what we had chatted about before the live. We are thinking on putting together a dark ritual, right? We say dark because it's more of a defensive magic. We planned on creating a banishment ritual for COVID-19. Now, the way in my head it kind of works, because I was talking to Leah Lynn and we spoke to Pat about it. In my head, the way I was explaining it to Leah Lynn, how it was like coming up in my head, was the fact that I viewed COVID-19 as an energy source, right? As one being one. I created it and put it into one thing, and therefore I was like, how can we attack, let's say, if COVID-19 was a dark spiritual entity, we would have to battle it, right, in order to get rid of it. So I thought that's perfect to involve the dark in the darkness aspect of it. We can work with a dark warrior type energy, god or goddess, or whoever we decide to work with, and we are gonna banish COVID-19. It's a banishment ritual for COVID-19, and we're planning to do it very close to the dark moon, which I'm not sure. I don't have anything on me right now that will tell me.
Shauna will pull it up and find out exactly, but like I said, I think it's Thursday or Friday. So we got a couple days. Yep. I'm making sad faces because somebody stole my M&Ms.
New moon is April 22nd.
Oh, so that's
at 10:25 p.m.
So we got a week.
And April 22nd falls on. Oh, it's next Wednesday.
So we got a week.
We have a week. So next, what I will do is I'll schedule next Wednesday as my day off from work.
We're talking about doing it.
And we'll do it on Wednesday.
Okay.
Huh?
I know her puppy's so adorable. We'll do it on Wednesday, and what I'll do is I'll schedule myself that day from work off. Okay. So I have that day off, and we'll prepare for it. Now you guys are welcome to join us. We haven't created any other details, just the fact that it's going to be a banishment ritual against COVID-19, and we're going to treat COVID-19 as a dark spiritual entity that we want to get rid of. You guys are more than welcome to join us. We're going to have some candles involved, you know. You can do all kinds of candles. I have some black candles that I've been dying to put to use, so I'll be using black candles for banishing. And we'll
once we get all of this worked up and everything, we'll post a list of what items we're using, and you can either go off of that list or add to your own and create your own list. That way we can just all do.
The idea that I want to create is the fact that we're all working together, right? We're all, as many as you guys want, right? And spread the word also. I want you guys to spread the word. The more of us joining this and in that live, and we can even get Mama Squirrel involved if she wants to, and we can do it on her channel if anything. And then anyone that wants to join can join. And the idea is for us to together in that moment, in that time, raising up enough energy that we need to kind of give it a little push towards.
Bye, Papa Squirrel. Love you.
Bye. Thank you for coming in.
And yes, Leanne, we're going to do it live.
Yes, it's going to be live. Definitely live. Now, it says it's 10:25 p.m. The dark moon, we don't have to wait that late. We could probably do it like a 9:30, 10 o'clock.
It'd be about 8 o'clock my time. So
That works for you. Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Well, maybe I could do mine outside. We'll see.
Ours will depend on the wind. We've been having some insane wind the last 3 days. I put out the wind chimes, and they're just going crazy. Yeah.
We have wind chimes here too. My mom loves them, so like every time I find new ones, especially at the thrift store, I bring them home.
Oh yeah.
I
Gotta bring wind chimes home.
Do we know anything from Mama Squirrel today? I kind of wrote to her, but we had no answer.
I have not heard anything really
I hope she's doing okay.
from Mama Squirrel. Yeah, I think she might be taking the day to sort of decompress and.
I think she's taking the night off. I think she's taking the night off, right, Leland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's pretty much all I've heard about it and from her. So.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. This is very interesting. I am looking forward to learning more about Loki and Hell. I'm very, very interested in Hell, so I'm going to start doing some research for myself because this whole half dead, half alive type thing, I like that aspect and idea. So I'm going to do some exploring.
Hex and you and anyone in the chat who wants to use it, there is a playlist on my channel called Dark Deities. There are several videos on it about Hell. Go check it out.
Yep. And reach out to any of us to learn. We're all willing to help.
Sconce, Rowena, it's not a sconce. It's actually a Gothic style cathedral mirror type thing. And I have some scullies sitting on it. I don't know if you can really see that, but there's scullies there. And that was a thrifty find. Cake the COVID ritual. I'm in. Oh my God, yes, I like that. Kick the COVID. Yup. That's how we're going to name it. Kick the COVID ritual.
So keep an eye out on the Facebook group and in the chats and everything. We will update you with a list of stuff once we get it worked out.
Yep.
And if anything, we could all just do a quick pre-record video listing everything to upload onto our respective channels.
We can do that too. We're gonna try and do something that is that you can have at home. We don't want you guys to go out during this craziness to try and find materials that you might not have. So we're gonna try and make it as accessible to everyone as possible in the materials that we pick and what it is that we're doing.
Yep.
Which may mean we will provide you with substitution.
But yeah, we're gonna make it, candles, crystals, whatever you may already have. And we'll also work up possible substitutions. Well, if you don't have this, you can use this.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is to use what you have at hand, but the whole
and if you don't have anything, and if you don't have anything, I will reiterate it till my dying day. You don't need anything. All you need is you.
Yep. Your intention can be the most powerful item you have.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining. We will talk to you soon and keep you guys updated, okay?
Yep.
Bye. Bye.